This is for all you women who are tired of letting the big boulders in your life define you. Those of you who are tired of apologizing, tired of feeling not good enough, tired of showing up without confidence, feeling like you're your own worst enemy, and tired of feeling like the clock is ticking on those big dreams. Those of you who feel maybe like you're just walking through life, missing out on all of those important moments. And definitely those of you who know that you have a much bigger destiny than you've been allowing yourself to live, and who realize that if you don't make some big changes, you're not only going to keep feeling stuck, you're going to finish your life feeling like you never fully lived. So here's the secret. If you keep focusing on those boulders, then you keep suffering. When you can look at those boulders in your life, those experiences, and yes, even those painful experiences, and you can see how they have at the same time, yes, you probably don't want to relive them again, but at the same time, most of those experiences have helped kindle the things that maybe you are passionate about. Today, I worked with a woman who is passionate about really helping people in the sense of making sure they feel listened to, they feel heard, they feel dignity. Customer service, for example, client service, client connection is huge for her. And so she realized as we went around, we have a mapping process where I help you learn not only where you are, but who you are. And in this mapping process, we go through the things you're passionate about, we go through your skills, and we go through the experiences that have made you who you are. Well, as I was doing it with this client, we stumbled upon the fact that she felt that, like, she was, to be perfectly honest, she was, let's say, a late child. She was an unexpected surprise, and therefore she felt like she was a nuisance and a bother, you might say. And so inadvertently, she had spent her entire life trying not to be the nuisance and the bother, and trying to be absolutely perfect so that her parents might be happier with her, so that her siblings would be happier about her. And inadvertently, she created an expectation within herself that if people really get to know her, especially the people who she wants desperately to love her, well, ultimately they're going to feel that she is a nuisance and a bother to them as well. So we were able to really do two very, very important things together. And one was to realize that it was that frustration of feeling like a nuisance and a bother that really did spur on her desire to make people feel valued, to make people feel like they are special, they're unique, they're wonderful, and gave her that extra lift for that. The other thing that we uncovered was that if she really paused to take a look at it, and she was to swap out with one of her siblings, so let's assume now that she was the oldest instead of the youngest, who arrived unexpectedly. The question was, would her parents have treated that sibling any different than they treated her? And the realization was absolutely not. This was something that their parents, her parents, had been struggling with. And quite frankly, in their generation, they didn't have the same encouragement to really develop themselves on a personal level. It wasn't that many generations back behind them that we as human beings were really focused on the real threat of having a roof over our heads, the real threat of some sort of illness that would even potentially kill us, finding our food, the basic survival needs. So it really is relatively recently that we as human beings have been able to really think about well-being, think about happiness. And I feel like this is an opportunity for us to prioritize this. So the purpose of this is to really encourage you, if you can realize and be honest with yourself that you have been letting your boulders define you, letting those scars define you, rather than having those scars cry out that you were mightier than the freaking boulders that tried to bring you down, that it is time to realize that you are at a fork in the road, because there are two ways you can go. One, maybe you've already been trying to fix that feeling, to feel like you're coming more alive. Maybe you've tried to change your job, your entire profession, your location, maybe even your relationship. And if you're like most people, you may be still getting those really frustrating results that make you feel like change is never going to happen. And so what then happens, if you don't go and get some sort of guidance, some sort of help, some sort of team to surround you and help you see in those blind spots, you're really in danger of getting to the point where you start looking at those dreams and saying, they were unrealistic. I didn't really want them anyway. And you get to this place where you start feeling like, I don't care. You start getting to this place where you feel your significance and your certainty based on the world being awful, the world being disappointing, people being disappointing, people doing nothing but letting you down. And so it's a very cynical, harsh, and unhappy view of life. And you inadvertently become one of those 70-year-olds or younger who's very cranky and very unhappy and just sitting there watching the clock tick by. Or you can realize that your life, you only have however much time, and we don't know how much time we have, but we don't know how much time we get to play on this planet, but we do get to choose and control how epically we live while we're playing here. So it's up to you. You're the one who must reach out, must get that help, making some of those shifts, some of those changes. Now is the time, because trial and error or plan Bs usually end up plan Zs with pretty much the same effect. And if you're watching this, you may know what I mean. So you probably are going to need some help if you want to go quickly, if you want to turn that tide, if you want to make sure you don't go down that one road that leads to that crotchety frustration. So get out there, get some help, do things that make you feel even more alive. Get help getting out of your own way so you truly can know what you're passionate about. You can actually feel grateful for some of those experiences, even the painful one, and you can truly, what I like to call, go out there and unleash that epic version of yourself. I'm Meredith Alexander, CEO of Grit Mindset Academy, and I hope that you just go out and have a freaking amazing, yes, epic day. And I will see you next time.